Hey, Maxim here. That was one. That video was really hard to press play on. I wasn't sure they want to do it live or not, so it's happening live, I guess. We'll see what comes up. Um, so, today is the juicy topic. The juicy topic is lust. The desire to be um, to be intimate and let's call it to have sex. Um, so, as I occasionally teach people joygasm, which is essentially um, the second part of it is a very sexual energy exchange. I've realized that I haven't talked about this specific topic, and the reason probably is because it's quite vulnerable and I'm kind of scared of it. So, time to face it first, as they say. So, for me personally, lust is a very tricky thing to deal with. So, like, I define lust as the feeling that you want to get laid. Uh, and the reason is because the people who've been in a relationship with me or the people who just know me know I'm like obsessed with it, as they call it. And basically, I need to get laid like every day or something like this. So for me, it's very tricky to talk about this topic because it's like I always felt very worried about it. Like I almost felt guilty. It's like it was like this. Hey, you only want sex from me, and I'm like, no, it's just my need. Like my need is different than yours. But as far as I know, maybe I'm just saying I'm the right girl. Most women cannot like don't have a desire of that much. So the question is was always for me is like, hey, this is really weird that I want the last so much, but actually most partners that I had they don't. So that brings me to the topic of like trying to figure out why do I crave that, and it's obviously not for reproduction purposes because if it was for reproduction purposes, I would have like 20 kids already, right? So I've realized that it's that moment, the moment when you lose yourself in your partner, when you just like the reality disappears and everything else becomes irrelevant. Nothing matters, and it just like for this moment, I create that experience. And as I'm reading this book called Stealing Fire. Um, they mention about Jason Silva and the ecstasy state and things like this. I start to realize that for me, due to cultural and social constraints, the other ecstasy states they weren't really available except maybe in work. So ecstasy state is when you're like in the flow, when you lose yourself, and it's kind of an interesting combination between conscious and subconscious. So, we need to be in a conscious relationship, right? That's what I've been telling people all the time. But actually, to lose oneself to another person, you need to shut down your consciousness and you need to just operate on subconscious. So, how do you be in a conscious relationship when you're operating on subconsciousness? Good question. So they talk a lot about this thing. I haven't finished the book yet, but they talk about different methods that people achieve the state. And like for me, like for example, psychedelics was like very no my like um, society, I guess, and also my circle of people I talked with. They were like, no, psychedelics is a very big thing. Um, then what's the other things the runner state is like the one thing I've discovered recently is like you get exactly the same feeling when you run. So like when I run at least. I go for a run and like somewhere about 6 or 7 kilometers after your body gives up and it's like, oh stop now, consciousness cannot handle this anymore, and you just keep pushing. You push through this kilometer, boom. You hit the state where you just like you lose yourself. You just like run and you don't realize what's happening. I remember when I did it first times. The first time probably was in Thailand when I really hit that point where I would daydream while I run, and I would just not know where I am. I would like stop in the middle of the beach and I'm like, what the heck, I supposed to like turn somewhere like 2 kilometers ago, but I'm like, hop, I just woke up in the middle of the beach. And I'm not sleeping, I'm running still. So the flow state, right? When you lose yourself and you just like flow with subconsciousness, it's exactly the same thing for lust. Uh, so that was one piece about the lust that I found, like how this is why I crave the experience so much. So I've been looking for like more of those experiences, like being in the flow. And like one example that I think I've posted this article on my Facebook, but it's uh, the morning routine. So a lot of people like, oh, I need to exercise in the morning and do a bunch of crap in the morning. And I've actually realized what works for me best is you wake up and you do what is the most important thing, which is not exercise and not taking care of small shit. So it's basically like big things that you want to do. Like for example, for me, it's like I want to write this blog article, and in the morning, and it doesn't mean I wake up early in the morning. Like I wake up early in the morning. For me, it's like 10. So usually I wake up at like 11 or 12. It doesn't need to be early morning. Actually, it just needs to be the first thing that you do. Because as soon as you open this box called Facebook, that's it. You lost. So I like intentionally don't open Facebook now because it breaks my flow in the morning, and then I just like sit down and work for 3 hours, not even eating, just like no breakfast, nothing, just like sit down and do what's very important. I usually decide like within 10 minutes. It's like a small meditation where you just write down 3 things which are really important, and boom, you get in the flow within like 10 minutes. Works for me. I've tried probably like for a week. I've been on and off it kinda, but now I'm back to it and I'm like, it's amazing to feel the flow again there. The other piece about lust is that I've realized that there's this preconception that satisfaction of this your own need is actually bad, because no, you should not be masturbating, because there was like this thing in the Bible, right? There's this Onan who, I don't know, he masturbated and then he come on the ground and then he was killed for that or something like that. I don't remember the exact story, but basically there's a huge religion um, judgment where you're like, you should not be doing that. And same in my family, I remember it wasn't really advisable. Let's say it was something weird which you don't talk about and things like this. So when you, why is satisfying your own needs becomes just like not something you should be able to do? Because it's your own need, and if it's your need, why the fuck can't you satisfy yourself then, which makes you happier? So I've read this book called Sex Magic, and he actually talks a lot about like how do you do it in the way that you don't feel ashamed, and how do you do it in a way where you actually value those moments, because then you realize that setting the intention right, he's like talks about intention setting during this period, and then use sexual energy to transform and manifest things, kind of like joygasm manifestation, but you actually use sexual energy with like direct touch and things like this. And that changed my mind about that experience, because I've realized I started to like value them. I started to be like, I know I can set intention very clearly and not be like distracted by other people, or not be distracted by, hey, how do I do it with a partner who doesn't know about this sex magic thing. And that's very different, because then you have like this I actually looking forward to it instead of shame. So for me, I've replaced my shame experience, which I had like massive shame about it, being like, oh my god, this is weird, I'm just gonna be like, to now looking forward to it, because I know like, hey, what is my next intention I'm gonna set? It's gonna just come true, or maybe not gonna come true, but it's going to be one of those, when you set the intention and you set the intention again and you keep doing it for like a week, and then bam, things manifest. Yeah. So one other thing is when you are in a relationship, and that's the tricky part. And I've seen, I think, articles about this. Do you masturbate or not when you're in a relationship? Because that's why it starts to be like, hey, it's kind of weird. Are you like cheating on your partner while you're doing it? And if you're not in like open relationship, then how can you actually do this? Because then you're like looking at someone else, or like usually people use some kind of stimulation. Like it's either fantasy, so you have it in your head, you're cheating, or you're looking at the iPad and you kind of cheating there. You're not doing anything physically, but you energetically doing it. So if you are in a relationship, let's say it's not an open relationship, then how do you handle that? And that is a tricky question, because this is where I have felt the most guilt, I guess, because then it becomes like this, a bit of a guilt trip where you're like, oh, okay, so you can't meet my need, I'm gonna go meet my need, but I'm also angry at you, and it kinda it becomes this very really weird experience where you're like angry masturbating, I guess, and it's not something I would like to repeat. Um, so I think from that perspective, you just need to like agree with your partner on the certain things that like maybe you are too horny for your partner. That doesn't mean that you need to separate, unless it's like once a week and then like 7 times a week. Then trust me, better to separate. It's like ridiculous amount of difference. But maybe it's like every second day and you want like every day, and then it's okay. Then have an agreement about this and have like a talk about it. Just like be like open and say, hey, I feel like I need to take care of my needs, and what's the beautiful thing is that your partner can actually support you in that, and then those experiences become even better. I mean, support you literally, which if you haven't tried that, it's an amazing experience when it's kind of like you transition this shame state where I'm like, you cannot satisfy my needs, I'm going to satisfy my own, to uh, your partner is not really in the mood now or something, but they are understanding that you have your own needs, and they either giving you space or they're actually like helping you with meeting your own needs. Okay, I've been blah 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 and think for like 7 minutes now, so it's time to finish this. Thank you for watching, and more crazy things soon. I'm gonna find some more vulnerable topics tomorrow. See you.